Just want to see if this thing works, and if so, cool. If not, looks like I'll have to go into configuring the settings for this. But what can I say? I am here. It is Monday morning. I'm just waking up. I've been up, but it just seems like mentally my mind hasn't woken up yet. I got like bags or around my eye. I probably got like dried tears. I must have been really having an emotional moment while I was sleeping. I don't know. But welcome, guys, to the Roobs ToyZone, powered by the 2400 Block Podcast. The podcast has been my thing for almost the last 6 years, since the onset of the pandemic, which had us wondering what were we going to do during that particular time. And so I invested some money and put it onto the Rodecaster, as well as a mic, as well as headphones. And next thing you know, I start podcasting, and it's now in its 6th season. Can you believe that, guys? 6th season. I started off in another place. This is the second location now. And as you can see, I made it my home. I got the sign up there. It says 2400 Block. That is my podcast. Feel free to check it out. It's on YouTube. And that seems to be the only home for now when it comes to my podcast. I used to do audio podcasts, which was kind of fun. I do remember the first episode in which I had butterflies in my stomach. I can hear my stomach growling, with thanks to my two friends, Raymond and Taja, out there in Norfolk, Virginia. So out there in the 757, I just want to give you all a shout out. Thanks for helping me on my very first episode, and I'll never forget that. Well, anyways, here I am. Fast forward 2026. So much has changed. I've just overcame a sickness that has spanned over 2 weeks. I'm now just getting back into the swing of things. Part of my hearing on my right ear is coming back. Sometimes I can hear it still being clogged. Somehow my earwax was probably affected during the sickness. But you know what, guys? I'm just grateful to be here. And I hope you are too. It's good that the sun is shining. Because without the sun, where would we be? Where would we be? Where would we find any inspiration if it's just going to be cloudy, rainy days? Unless if you're really into that kind of stuff. But guys, here we are. I'm in, the Chicagoland area, where things are starting to warm up. And I find that pretty cool when it's warming up now. Let's talk about toys in a moment. But first, guys, I just want to tell you that the baseball season has just started. So let me just show you something, guys. Okay, I'm a little bit out of frame here. You don't even see me, but I'm grabbing something. So just want to say, go White Sox. Got a Ron Kittle bobblehead here, given by my friend Bill many years ago. I've been taking care of it. As you can see, it still looks great. Has that old school Aldi sign. Yeah, guys, that's an old school Aldi sign. I'm not particularly fond of their new design. I'd rather them sticking to the old school look. And that's just me. But this is Ron Kittle during his heyday when he played for the White Sox. As you can tell, he looks very happy. I would be too if I was playing for the White Sox at that time with some really cool ass uniforms. Look at that, guys. The uniforms were really good back then. Maybe they can switch to that for maybe half of the season. That would be really cool. And I also want to share something to you guys. I got this card that came with my latest toy purchase, and it comes from the Gray Woods cat, and it says, "Thank you very much." I couldn't really read the name on the bottom there, so my apologies, Gray Woods cat, if I wasn't able to read your name off, but thank you for this. Really means a lot. And I'm not sure. I got bad memory a little bit, but I believe this may have came from you, the Sour Patch. So thank you very much for the Sour Patch. I have not eaten the Sour Patch. However, I do plan on probably taking that with me to the upcoming trip to Florida. Florida should be really fun. And speaking of Florida, speaking of beach, now imagine if you're playing volleyball. It just makes you wonder. And you're just constantly thinking in your head, who can I think of when it comes to volleyball? Well, I can show you like one of my earlier purchases, and this came from Blockbuster. I'm not sure how this came about. It must have been some promotion that was going on when the Castaway made its way to Blockbuster. The Castaway movie starring Tom Hanks and Helen Hunt. By the way, that movie was very touching. So, guys, if you are very emotional, especially when you get to see that relationship, that brotherly relationship between the Tom Hanks character and Wilson the volleyball. Remember Wilson? Well, I just got a little miniature version of Wilson here. This is one of my first collectibles here, and I've had Wilson for quite some time now. Remember, Castaway came around like the year 2000, I believe. I don't really have too much of a good memory. I think it was like maybe 2000, 2001, 2000. I don't know. As I get older, my memory gets kind of bad, so my apologies. But this is Wilson. This was from, Blockbuster. I guess they gave away these Wilson miniatures, and to this very day, I still have it. Be really cool if some of my action figures would interact with them in their respective vignettes. I've been doing vignettes now for the last couple of days. I find it really fun on the Knock Knock app. I will show you at the conclusion of today's podcast some of these vignettes, which I found very fun to do and to be in control of when it comes to the scenic development as well as character dialogue. I found that really fun. I never used that creative form of me. And I remember as a kid, we tend to have so much imagination, so much to thinking what we want to create from the top of our heads. As kids, we would think of the big budget action thriller, and we're just doing it with our hands, and we're just bashing away at the bad guy. Well, with Knock Knock, it takes things to a whole new level. It takes having these figures and not putting any damage to them. The figures here are still standing, and they are in their respective location or setting, and you tell them what to do. Something happens bad, but in reality, your figures are still here. So, let me also show you what I have as well. I just want to take the time, since some of these are like the latest purchases. I got Rey Mysterio over here. Rey Mysterio is pretty cool, and he's a pretty small guy. I mean, you compare that with his son Dominic. This is his son Dominic. Look at this. Look how the height advantages for Dominic over his dad. This is his dad right here. You'd be thinking that this is the son. No, this is the son right here. And just look how tall Dominic is over his dad by a mere, maybe a foot or something like that. It looks like a foot or a foot and a quarter or something like that. I don't know. But that's really cool. I just bought Ray here in Chicago while I was going about with errands. So there he is. It looks really cool. I never thought of getting a Rey Mysterio until later on. But, well, here he was in the store, and I had to take the opportunity to go snatch him. So, yeah, there he is, Rey Mysterio, looking really cool. And hopefully I can take some snapshots or some videos from San Diego and somehow incorporate him into the background. That would be really, really cool. And by the way, guys, I have an audience member here besides the action figures in front of me, but I have a dear friend of mine who has been, watching me on my podcast earlier during the times that she lived. She listened to me, and she was very constructive of what I was saying. Back then, I was very repetitive with words. I was very nervous. I just kept saying the same things over and over again. She also noticed that I stuttered a whole lot. So she's here with us this morning. So let me show you. This is Jill. This is the remains of Jill. She was one of those that helped me improve as a person. She is a good friend. I'm glad that she's here with me, in spirit. I miss her. I miss her voice. I remember recording her on my podcast. Well, actually, she lent me her voice, and it was just a project about being in our age and what motivates us to keep on going. She just passed away like 2 years ago, and I believe she was only in her early 50s. I believe she was in her early or mid 50s. So she passed away unexpectedly. But, you know, I got memories of her, through videos and pictures, and they'll live on forever. So I'm very proud of the fact that she has made a huge difference in my life, as well as my girlfriend Riza. And I can't believe it's been so many years since I developed this friendship with her and her family, especially her husband Bill, who is back here in Illinois. So it's good to see him again and see her beforehand on Florida vacation right before she passed. Okay, guys, we're going to be switching gears here to action figures. So it should be really cool when we look at action figures. Okay, and there is my Masters of the Universe collection. I'll take this guy out and just put him there temporarily. And yeah, here they are right now. Let me just raise the gimbal for you guys to see. Now, this is not all of the collection. Some of the collection are stored in a container. So this is just about 80% of them here. And the rest of them are somewhere else. Let me show you. Okay, so here are the other action figures from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line. I pretty much stashed them all in here. Now, the only thing that I have to work on in the next few months is having to actually buy a display case to put them all there. They don't deserve to be put in these containers. It feels like they're imprisoned. They have a role in my life. They should be doing something. They shouldn't be stored in here. And I just wish I had enough room to put over there, but I have limited space. So yeah, I collected all these figures, and 20% of them wound up in here. Yeah.
Hello everybody, this is Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the Roobs ToyZone. I just want to say right now that I will be featured soon on the Roobs ToyZone.
Yeah, that's me doing the the crazy thing there, guys. Trying to sound like Drew McIntyre. Has anyone tried doing the Drew McIntyre accent? I mean, he does it so well. He's such a natural at it, and when he does these things on TV, it's just, I just find it so cool. And sometimes he's really just so insane with the sarcasm and trying to say all these bad things about his opponent. Yeah, I just hope to get a chance to feature Drew one day on my show. Just like I did right now. That was just his cameo appearance. But I like to talk in depth about how he looks as a figure, and to talk about anything that's intricate or complex, his wardrobe, you name it. Guys, right now you're seeing a still picture there, or shall we say a live picture, of my Masters of the Universe Masterverse line figures. This is the collection. This is, some of them are down there. Some of them are right behind the monitor. We can probably go in detail with that soon on the podcast. Probably not today. I can't really go to a full extent. I can only go beyond what I can here. Guys, you are listening. You are watching the Roobs ToyZone, powered by the 2400 Block Podcast. That is my podcast, and it's good to have a spinoff podcast here talking mainly about toys. Toys do inspire us. Toys gives us the ability to create, to imagine things going on, and we can put aside our real world problems and just focus more on the world of make-believe, as it makes us happy. It makes us motivated to stay alive, to believe in the power of imagination, whether you're a villain or whether you're a hero, or just whenever, or you're just a character, just want to have fun. That's what toys is all about. Excuse me, guys, if you're hearing a lot of noise coming from the background, it's probably a dump, a trash, garbage truck. Sorry about that. I got distracted. I was reading a message on my phone, and it's good that nobody's calling me, because imagine if someone was calling me right now and they interrupt my wonderful podcast here. Guys, I want to talk in detail. I'm going to start off with two figures, and I'm going to probably feature the other one soon. But for today, I will cover two figures, and they're right in front of me. They are two female figures. It's Tila on the left, and to the right is her mother, the sorceress. The sorceress, of course, she transforms into Zoar, the falcon. If you've been watching the Masters of the Universe cartoons, you're already familiar with these characters, especially the sorceress, who looks great over there, by the way, in orange, light blue, and white. And she just looks amazing. And I'll tell you some of the modifications I did with this figure. But right now, let me grab Tila. Okay, guys. Right here is Tila. She looks, really beautiful. She's definitely got that warrior-like personality. She's very headstrong. She definitely looks fit. Definitely looks the part of the female warrior. She looks like she's been trained for so many years. I just want to tell you guys that this is not the original Tila head that I have on this figure right now. It is a custom-made head, actually made by a sculptor from Mexico. I'm going to put you on the spot here, Jose from Mexico, but I'm going to definitely put you on the spot. He goes by Hordak MX on Instagram. It's HORDAK MX. He's a wonderful sculptor, as you can see. He did a wonderful. Oops, there you go. I hit my phone. He did a wonderful job in making this. Look at her hair; it just looks amazing. The design is perfect. The way he painted it is perfect. And the original Tila head, it was just straight average. All right, so I'm gonna put Tila right here for a moment, and I'm going to go grab the figure, the figurehead that is. I'm away from my phone right now, so you guys can hear me while I have a mic. And here I am just talking to you guys as you guys are enjoying your Monday morning. I hope your Monday is great, by the way, wherever you are. Probably you guys are enjoying pleasant sunny skies. And as for me over here, I'm getting all warmed up. The heater is still on here at the home, and I got on a hoodie, by golly. Okay, guys, you're seeing a wonderful view over there of the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line set of figures. We're going to cover these figures soon, and we're going to go in depth with them. But for today, this is like pretty much the first full episode of the Roobs ToyZone, powered by the 2400 Block Podcast. And I just want to show you guys Tila as she looked like originally, her head. Here it is. Look at that, guys. That is Tila that was on that body. And as you can tell, she looks okay. Just not much when it comes to the details. She just looks pretty much average. It was good on Mattel's part to make her look this good. But with Jose's work, I mean, you can just tell a major difference between this and that. I mean, look how amazing his work is. And we'll do it one more time, guys. We're going to try to get a close-up of her once again, as she looks great. Hopefully she won't be out of focus. Trying to get a good version of Tila in her with the new head. Looks good. I love it. And yeah, we're going to be talking about. We're going to be also talking about her mom, the sorceress. Okay, let's put back Tila over there, and I'm going to put back the original Tila head in the compartment. And now I'll be taking the sorceress head with me here, the original sorceress head, and then I'll feature the sorceress. Okay, oops, I shook the camera. That was not an earthquake, guys. That was me. That was my knee hitting the container. Okay, so here's the sorceress. I'll tell you about the modifications I did with the sorceress in a bit. But first, guys, this is the original sorceress head. Now, she doesn't look that bad. She doesn't look that bad at all. She's pretty. I think that Mattel did a good job in doing what they had to do with her. Very good on the details. But you know what she reminds me of? I don't want to offend, the Catholics out there. I know they worship Jesus, and of course, including, Mary, the statue of Mary. Well, she kind of has that look, She kind of has that look like Mother Mary. Because the Mother Mary in the Catholic churches I go to, they look really nice. I mean, they're just as beautiful as the sorceress here. So yeah, she looks great. I'm just saying she looks great, guys. So I'm sorry if I'm drawing any comparisons to Mother Mary. I've seen Mother Mary in different churches. She looks like really cool. She looks like really pretty. So that's just what I want to say. All right, guys, you're looking at the sorceress right here, and you're probably wondering, like, what kind of... Let me see if I can move this thing right. Oops. Went a little bit too high there. All right. So that's the sorceress, guys, as she is presently. I'll tell you the modifications that I did with the sorceress. So this part right here in the cape, where it's showing the orange, this actually was the back part of her. But in the cartoons, I'm not talking about the Filmation one, but I'm referring to Revelation on Netflix, is that the orange part actually appears in the cartoon, but in the toy, they took that and put it on the back. So I was just trying to be very accurate and decided to go forth with a change. Yeah, I decided to go forth with a change. So I decided to reverse it, and now the orange appears. And what else is new? Well, I decided to go beyond the Revelation look. I thought it was very limited when it came to the way she dressed. Like, this whole thing here was a gown that went all the way down to here. And she had restricted movement when she had that. And I, for once, I didn't like it. I can't even find a sorceress figure that sort of matches the Filmation cartoon. I'm not talking about the cartoon collection, but a Masterverse figure that kind of gives in a little bit to the old Filmation look. So what I did, guys, and I know it's very risky for most of you that want to do something to their toys. It's 50-50, guys. You either mess up or it looks good. And what I did over here, I used a pair of scissors and just started cutting along through. I know it looks very jagged. At least the part I got to perfection was like right here, because I was just trying to follow the design on these to sort of match that. So yeah, just want to do that. She looks great overall. I wish I could do more with her with her wings, which is a cape over here. Hopefully one day I get to buy, a customized wing solely just for this figure, because she deserves that. She's done a heck of a good job trying to protect Castle Grayskull along with He-Man. And I just think she deserves that. She deserves better than this. This is good. The cape is not bad, but I think she deserves a pair of wings that can fold, just like in the cartoon. You've seen her wings like appear here and appear there. And now, as far as the look is concerned, this is not, like I said, this is a customized head. This is the original head right here, guys. That's the original Sorceress right here. The original Sorceress head. This right here, again, just like that figure back there of Tila, is also made by Jose from Mexico, who, again, guys, he's just awesome. You see how he puts the details. He takes time. He puts a lot of effort to make it look good. Make her look good. And I'm amazed. I'm amazed at how it turned out. So thank you, Jose, over there in Mexico. Hordak MX on Instagram, for doing a phenomenal job with the details to comprise of the new customized head. So that looks awesome, man. Really does. So let's put back the Sorceress over here. She deserves that. She deserves to be seen. So with Tila. Okay. So that's that for now, and yep. And everybody saying LA Night, yeah. Okay. There I go again, guys, using my creative imagination besides utilizing the Knock Knock app. And guys, after this program over here, I'll get to show some of those vignettes that were on Knock Knock and show it to you guys to reveal some of my works through that app using the power of imagination on my action figures. And guys, before I close, I like to talk about one more product, and I'm going to show him in front of you. Okay, guys, here I am. I'm seeing myself. Feels awesome looking at myself. Gosh, it's like 70 plus degrees I'm having on this hoodie. And you're probably wondering why I'm having this hoodie too. By the way, shout out to SLFE over there in Los Angeles. Thanks for the hoodie. It looks really awesome. Get to represent the peanuts, right? Anyways, I just want to take this time right now to thank those in the toy collecting community, toy photography community. It's just nice to meet, you guys, especially during this time where it really means a lot for me. And I'm going to give you a backstory, just a little quick backstory as to how I got back into the toy collecting community. Well, it turns out, more of the toy collecting hobby and then the toy collecting community. But I just want to tell you guys that it's been a long road. Almost nearly a year now, my brother Jason passed away. It's such a huge, immense loss for me, having to deal with it on the daily. At first, it was so hard to process. Like, the reason why it was so hard to process is because I just couldn't accept the fact that he's gone, that it hasn't registered in me yet. And for some, the grieving process takes a little bit of some time. And then when that time comes and you're by yourself, there you go. It goes full circle. So, it's been nearly a year. And I was, I've been going places here and there. And it just so happens, like, when I'm parked somewhere, it hit me. Feeling that huge loss on my brother, realizing he's gone, it's devastating. And oh my goodness, the the buildup of emotions, it just felt like he just lost something like really huge, and it really sunk in on me. But I can tell you guys, through that, I found some healing. I was looking back to our childhood. We're very grateful for toys that we had, and that also includes my younger brother, Jeff, who is now having a toy collection of his own. I mean, he's got like a tall case showing off his toys and models and that kind of thing. He mainly has the Transformers Generation 1 line. So that's pretty awesome. He has most of that. So I'm glad that he is able to accomplish that part. And I know it was inspired. It stemmed from the originating point where me, Jason, and Jeffrey, the youngest brother's Jeffrey, we were able to get some toys while we were young, of course, thanks to mom and dad. So shout out to mom and dad. So we're able to get some of those toys, and some of them are still with us to this very day. Some of them have, evolved to newer versions. Just like Ratchet and Ironhide, they didn't look good as the original, G1 version. But there are better versions that came out later, which kind of showed them looking like the cartoon, the way they should be looking like. And I'm glad they did. So sometimes having to update or upgrade your figures is definitely worth it. And just like what I did here with these different heads that I've gotten from Jose down in Mexico. So it's always good to make improvements. Sometimes I know it's kind of risky, but this is pretty much my investment. Toys being my investment. I know it, it costs an arm and a leg for some, and I was able to get that part. And I was talking about that one figure. Sorry, I drifted off a little bit, but I just want to talk a little bit about my brother. And he, by the way, before I go touch that figure, what I'm about to show you, I just want to say that he is the sole inspiration to this toy collecting project that I've been doing for over a month. I put this podcast on the side. Now, this was the podcast right before I talked about toys. I had a chance to talk with a lot of guests. I get to hear their perspectives. I love them sharing their thoughts. And it's just amazing just getting to hear, different kinds of folks, And at the end of the day, we're all here for the common goal is to live each day to the fullest. And I hope we get to carry that here as well in the toy collecting community. And I just want to say that my brother is still a part of the toy collecting community to me in that way, because we were able to, he's able to inspire me to get pretty much 85 or 90% of the Masterverse figures here. Of course, nothing beats the original He-Man figures from the 80s, but it's good to see them evolve, especially to the Masterverse 7-inch figures that we have today. Now, the only drawback about some of these Masterverse figures is that they somehow, I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes when I let them stand, it's hard to put them into position, because some of these figures somehow just can't seem to support themselves than others. Other figures are pretty much able to stand well on their own based on their positioning. But for some of these figures, it takes a little bit of a while to get them in the right, position to stand for a prolonged period of time. And of course, many of us go through that chain reaction event where you have a figure along with another set of figures over there out beside them. And of course, when one figure fails to stand, next thing you know, it affects the others. Doesn't that just get to you? Doesn't it just crawl under your skin? Yeah, for me it does. But it is what it is. I can just say F and S here and there. Okay, guys, let me switch to this camera here, and we're gonna go show him in his. Well, let me just. You know what? I'll show me. I'm not really a big fan of me showing myself when it comes to me and the toys, because the toys do deserve the spotlight, but I'll show them here anyways. So this is one of the biggest investments that I had, and it's none other than Panther. Panther looks really awesome, especially this coming from Mattel Creations. So this is like a limited edition, you can say, because I don't think they're producing him anymore. They only are able to release these at a certain time, and I actually missed out on getting this. Actually, I was not even into collecting back then because my brother was still among the living. I never thought about toys, never thought about jumping into toy collecting until, last February, where I started buying a lot of them. And, my brother fuels my motivation. So we got here, Panther. He is one of those that, you had to, buy, cost an arm and a leg. But I had to get him. Skeletor needed his ride. Yeah, Skeletor will be on this thing maybe in a few episodes from now. And we'll show him on top of Panther over here. This is Panther. He looks great. This is probably the best version of Panther, probably like ever. He even has a helmet. A battling helmet. It looks just like Battle Cat, but only it's not Battle Cat. It's Panther. I mean, he looks like a badass. Check out his armor. Amazing. And he even has a spear. Look at that. Spear. A spear for, Skeletor to use. And this figure looks more than, 7 inches tall. If you were to put him like that, it looks more like, 10 maybe? 10, 12 inches? If he were to face up that way, yeah. But yeah, he looks great. He looks great. And I actually have Battle Cat too. I'll show Battle Cat at another time. But this figure costs like an arm and a leg, guys. This is like nearly 100. I think after everything, after taxes, after shipping, it came up to like 180. Yeah, 180. And I got it from this guy. I guess his name is Scott, all the way out there in Indiana. So Scott, thank you very much for that. And also Scott, you gave me something which was like really cool, and I want to show it to you guys. It is this. He gave this as a free gift. It says Fiends, so you can see the villains all seated together there at the table. All the villains. I know some of the famous, iconic 80s cartoons villains are missing, but yeah, this will do. And it's called Fiends, not Friends. It looks like it says Friends, but it's Fiends. So, thank you very much. Again, guys, the toy collecting community has been awesome. And it's just so good to hear from them, whether they're sending me wonderful surprise gifts like that, or a postcard like the one I just showed you earlier, and also just them communicating with me and developing wonderful friendships. I do need to also give a special shout out to someone in Peachtree, Georgia. I've been communicating with him. He was the one that helped me getting the Frosted action figure, as well as Clamp Champ. He is such a hard to find figure these days too. So very grateful for him. I believe his name is Gary. I'll just go by Gary for now. But I do have his address and everything, so I plan to drop him a line, maybe send him a postcard from Florida while I'm going to be in Florida vacation in a few days from now. But yeah, the toy collecting community has been great. So toy collecting is fun. It puts a big smile on my face knowing that I accomplished something, and then using my brother Jason as a sole inspiration for me in having to get most of these figures. But the really cool part is actually developing a relationship with the toy collecting community on different parts of the state. I have not really went fully, international. I think I went as far as Canada. I just started making friends with a toy photographer over there in Canada. So special shout out to the toy photographer over there. And yeah, man, it's an amazing blessing to finally found a niche. I don't know what kind of niche I was going to find along the way in life, but here I am. I mean, it's amazing to get an Instagram profile going. It is the Roobs ToyZone. And yeah, guys, check out Roobs ToyZone. And you'll see all the many things that I post about toys, photographs, vignettes through Knock Knock app, or just, plain video. You'll see them all there. And I believe it has now amassed over 13.6K views. So I'm amazed on how it's been going, nearing 30 days since that was made way back in February. But guys, I just want to close this episode out for today. I'll go on a full extent talking more about toys, and hopefully in later episodes to come you'll get to see me talk with my brother Jeffrey. I'll probably be taking this podcast all the way down there to the 757, talk with my brother, and he can go over his collection in detail. I was able to interview him on my podcast about a year ago. Well, yeah, over a year ago. And he has been pretty cool about doing podcast episodes. I know sometimes it takes a little bit of some convincing. He's not really used to talking on camera. I used to be like that too when I had an audio podcast, and being on camera was like one of the most challenging things. So I just want to say this is fun to do. I love doing this, guys. I love talking to you guys and establishing a rapport. And hopefully we'll have some sort of following coming soon here, guys. Because remember, this is the first episode of Roobs ToyZone, powered by the 2400 Block podcast here. And this is going to be kind of the norm. I'm getting back into the world of podcasting, but also introducing the world of toy collecting, especially at this age now. I'm age 51, going on to 52 this year. I may not even look like I'm in my 50s, but you know what? I'll just take the blessing, I'm just amazed of, the clean bill of health that I've achieved over the years. I know my health is not going to be the best as I get older, but I'm very fortunate to have made it here this far in life. And I know I've had friends that didn't even made it to 40 years old. And there's like maybe 3 of them that I can think of from my mind, and I miss them dearly, and I wish I could connect with them again. But I know they're watching over me. I know as I'm thinking of them, I know I can make the best out of myself too, and to accomplish goals and that kind of thing. Right now, I'm into rebuild mode when it comes to dealing with real world things. It's a little bit of a challenge. I wish I could explain it to you guys in detail, but one of these days I will. One of these days I'll be very open about it here on Roobs ToyZone. But anyways, guys, I just want to thank you for watching this very first full episode of Roobs ToyZone, powered by the 2400 Block podcast. I hope I'll get to make many more of these in the times to come. It's fun to do. I think there's a lot of potential that can come to this. I'm also working on a book project, and I'm hoping to get that published maybe by the end of the year. I got about one more chapter to go. I'm trying to finalize details as well into getting that thing accomplished. So there's just so much right now riding on my mind here in life. And okay, that'll be it for now. I'm going a little bit too far. I'm stretching a little bit. I'm getting too comfortable. And I'm hearing like a woodpecker that's like woodpecking outside right now. He's doing a lot of business right now, woodpecking away. It could be a she. She could be woodpecking away on the wood. And wow, I mean, they're just amazing woodpeckers. I wish I could see them up close. I wish I could take the camera and have a chance to see them in action. So that's one of the many noises I hear when I step out of the door, the woodpecking noise, and then there's like birds chirping, besides the garbage truck just ruining the natural noises. Okay, guys. You guys take it easy. I'll talk to you again soon on a future episode of Roobs ToyZone, powered by the 2400 Block Podcast. Y'all have a wonderful rest of the day. All right? Bye.
Finally! I was starving! Mijo, have you no shame? Boo!
They can't get enough of this. Can you blame them? Not a chance.
We've been waiting for you.
Ladies, perfect timing. Let's leave this chaos.
You've been always on my mind. I love you.
Same here. May I have this dance?
Of course, handsome. Hun, these flowers are so vibrant and beautiful. Oh my gosh.
There's so many of them.
Mind if you... Thanks so much, babe. I love you.